Hi, today is January 24th, 2023. And I don't know if I posted last year or it was the year before. I've kind of lost track about all this. But the time has come. And I'm not talking about, you know, I'm not talking about like doing something crazy or going wild or, losing my mind and doing something. Something that they would claim, like, like if they say, oh, this person was suicidal, out of the blue they were happy but they turned suicidal. I'm not talking about none of that. What I am talking about though is that for a long time they talked about conspiracy theories being crazy, like they gotta, what would they call it, foil hat, you know like you're nuts, you gotta be crazy to believe in any of that, right? But this year in the what is it called, World Economic Forum, I think it is, they released their plan. They released what they want the one world government to be. They released the structure that they want it to be, you know, the idea of it, right? So, for those that may say we're crazy, or for those that may say that, the scripture of God is far off and none of this is happening and all this or that, this may be the beginning of the road, like maybe that whole wall that they're building, that they're gonna do it worldwide and they're gonna get rid of cities, they're gonna get rid of, you start understanding why they're creating all these crimes, all this, like process. It's like a process, like they're giving you the process to the ending place, you know and it seems like we're close, we're pretty close. Who knows, 20, 30 years, but they say that by 2045 they want to have this thing built. They're already talking about it, and they've mentioned a new world order. They're saying that the new world order cannot happen in a society like today. So they know that in order to have that, they have to create a new society. They try to do it in this one and it's not working, you know that's what they're saying. It has not worked. Or what they're doing is also, creating like dependency, like being more dependent on what you eat, being more dependent on everything you need, and then just taking it all away. Where you're gonna look for safety, right? So when you're looking for safety, you're looking for a place to be living without worry. So once they build this big wall instead of cities and none of that, this straight line world, right? You're either you get kicked out of society and you'll be living like a caveman, or that mirror that they're trying to build, kind of like a world mirror. What if it already existed for a long time, you know? But I mean, the crazy idea that they're promoting this idea already in Davos, should make you think, like, we're not that far off. 2045 is not that far off. It's 20 years. 22 years. But regardless, that's given us 20 years to stop this thing. And when I say stop it, I don't mean do some crazy stuff. We can stop it. We got more people. We must fight to keep these cities. And I'm pretty sure with this climate weather control machines, once they build it, the people that don't want to believe it, they'll just start attacking us with hurricanes and all types of things, and show that this grid doesn't break. Like nothing can touch us, blah blah blah. And they'll make it seem like that's the only place we can live. Kind of like what would they call these people? It was kind of like a conspiracy nut, but it was not planners. It was another word. But either preppers. So preppers, they were prepping. So you know how they used to have those bunkers, kind of like, oh shit, if the end of the world comes, blah blah blah. They're making basically a big, big, big bunker. Is the end of the world coming? Maybe they know about it, But I don't think the end of the world is coming. I think they're gonna create the end of the world and say that, because kind of like Wall-E, but instead of people living in the space, they're gonna have people living on this grid, right? Who knows what's gonna happen, to be honest. But it's crazy. To me, it's crazy that we're living in this world the way it is. And it's gotten to the point that they can openly say, this is what we're gonna do. And not one person realizes what's coming. Because it's not only gonna be a world control or a one world government. It's gonna mean you're not gonna have your house. You're not gonna have nothing. Everything you have right now in the next 20 years, most likely you won't have it. No wonder they're teaching kids about Minecraft. No wonder they're pushing more into this virtual reality. It makes sense. They want to put us asleep, physically asleep, forever. And probably just have like robots or, turn us into transhumans. A big base that's like a big ass wall. I'll put the footage so you guys can see it. But yep, just wanted to give that update. Peace out.
Discussion about what the new world order will be, or how, even in the context of our new Helsinki, how do we work towards that new normative international order that allows us to address our differences and disputes as the civilized world. And I believe perhaps we are at the moment in such a hyper-partisan, hyper-polarized time that we're not going to be able to form that new Helsinki today. But I hope going forward we are able to do, we must form and improve our normative and institutional order internationally so that we can address these complaints. I hope this time round, once we're building this new world order or new rules-based order, the voice of the global south and the developing world.
The principle of the line, which is really the revolution in urban design that NEOM is pioneering. And we can talk a little bit more about that as we go through the rest of the panel in the session.
So when I'm looking at this, it's a grid infrastructure.
Yeah, so basically the way it works is it's 170 kilometers long, 200 meters wide, 500 meters high. Wow. The height is from the sea level, so as you go inwards and the topography actually goes up, then the height of the actual building structure reduces until you get to the mountains where it actually, you no longer have a mirror line. The idea is about what we call zero gravity urbanism, which is not necessarily having to be linked and anchored to a ground. How can we think of cities that go vertical and not only horizontal? This has many benefits. It's 5 minutes walk from all of your needs. Each module is 800 meters wide, and each module will take 80,000 people on average. Obviously, some are going to be more densely populated than others. And when you do it this way, you're only 5 minutes walk away from your school, your hospital, supermarket. The other thing is that the catchment area becomes a lot bigger. The catchment area for businesses becomes an 80,000 catchment area within a 5 minute walk, which, as you can understand, instead of opening many pharmacies or many stores, that one store will service a much bigger catchment area than it typically does in other cities that have, 15, 20,000 people in even dense cities, catchment areas like New York and London. The idea as well is to reduce the footprint. So imagine 9 million people living on 34 square kilometers. And if you compare that to other cities, it's almost the 2% of the size of London, yet taking the same amount of population at end state. The first module is going to finish in 2027, end of 2027. And as you can imagine, this is a generational project. So it will continue to go on until